Artificial intelligence is constantly sold to us as a purely digital revolution, a magic box of code that lives in the ether. But the reality of running these models is heavy, industrial, and overwhelmingly physical. Right now, tech giants like Microsoft, Amazon, and Google are committing hundreds of billions of dollars to build out their AI capabilities. But you literally cannot spend $1 trillion just typing lines of code into a computer. Writing software is relatively cheap, so when that massive wave of capital leaves the software, where exactly does it all go? To find the immediate, guaranteed winners of this boom, we have to follow the money out of the cloud and straight down into the dirt. The first stop for all this cash is the microscopic layer of the physical world, semiconductors. This diagram illustrates the AI stack. Capital drops from the top layer of digital software down into a middle tier of semiconductor manufacturing. Because these microchips act as essential brains for training large language models, the sheer volume of orders completely bottlenecks the supply chain. But those chips are practically useless sitting in a cardboard box. They run incredibly hot and need to be plugged into immense physical infrastructure to actually process data. That brings us to the second tier, the major cloud computing providers buying up this hardware by the truckload to build out their server capacity. This map tracks the geographic footprint of those cloud providers. You can see data center expansion clustering rapidly across very specific real estate hotspots around the country. These facilities are sprawling, heavy-duty compounds that can span hundreds of acres. The biggest hurdle to scaling artificial intelligence is no longer figuring out the computing logic. The choke point is simply finding enough physical space on Earth to house the servers, which means we have to drop past the high-tech server racks entirely and look directly at raw Earth. A server farm of this scale demands a staggering amount of baseload electricity to keep the processors running, and crucially, to keep them from melting down. This exposes a completely unexpected class of winners. Utility companies are suddenly seeing massive spikes in demand to upgrade local electrical grids to handle the load. Meanwhile, commercial property owners, who happen to hold large plots of land near high-capacity power lines, are positioned to extract massive premiums from desperate tech giants. Then you have the traditional construction crews, steelworkers, and concrete suppliers required to physically build the shells of these facilities. These bedrock businesses are cashing their checks today. They get paid for the concrete and the kilowatts, regardless of whether a chatbot ever turns a profit. The entire foundation of this hyper-futuristic technology rests squarely on the shoulders of legacy, physical industries locking in guaranteed payouts right now. In corporate finance, this massive outflow of cash to build physical assets is known as capital expenditure, or CapEx. This chart tracks tech spending by Microsoft and Amazon. Recently, the capital expenditure line exploded upward, dwarfing historical norms. Yet Wall Street demands this physical spending produces software revenue. There is a gaping disconnect between billions going out for infrastructure and money coming in. It remains an unproven gamble whether consumer and enterprise AI applications will generate enough widespread profit to justify the cost of the servers running them. The tech giants are wagering trillions of dollars on a hypothetical future. But the people pouring the concrete, laying the copper wire, and fabricating the chips? They have already captured the real wealth.